So, one of my favorite pastimes is to go on Amazon and search for self-published books and just find the weirdest and the worst ones that I can find and then give them as gifts for holidays and birthdays to friends that obviously don't want them. Usually the books that I find sound so funny that it pains me to give them away. So sometimes I find something so bad and weird that I have to keep it and read it myself. I think I succeeded in finding the worst book that there is ever. I'd like you to meet Troll. This book is by Emma Clark. And let's take a look at the description. 21-year-old Kyla Adkins frequents the internet in search of her soulmate. Internet is capitalized. We're not messing around. While online, she meets hot and devilishly handsome Justin Brogan. Dangerous, arrogant, and quite psychotic, Justin hacks into Kyla's computer, and soon he controls everything, including her heart and her life. So this is an erotic book about somebody who falls in love with an internet troll who's harassing them. Just like in real life. I like to suffer. We have like a little bonus treat because this is the first 3 books. A trilogy. It's not very thick, but you know. Let's jump in, okay? Summer. A season when lovers held hands, embraced and kissed as they strolled side by side on the walkway heading nowhere. Sometimes I was forced to watch these lovers, considering my small apartment loomed above the street. We're off to a strong start. The book opens with the narrator complaining about how she cannot find love. She's on like an eHarmony type site called True Christian Love, but she can't find anyone that's willing to date her. Probably because she's an absolute whale at 125 pounds. Wow, that's so many pounds. No wonder no man wants her. It's unclear if men find her attractive or not. There's kind of a lot of flip-flopping going on. She says she's insecure, but she turns men's heads in public. It's kind of hard to know what her problem is, but I don't have to worry about it for too long. We are only on page 4 and our troll makes his first appearance. He sends our narrator a DM on the dating site. It's from Genius One. It's subtle. Hello. Great boobs you have. I noticed the cleavage in your photo, so what size bra do you wear? Let's chat, honey. I want to get to know you. Genius One. In parentheses, Justin. Why do you have a username if you're just gonna say, my name's Justin? Oh, he clarifies. P.S. I don't give my real name out to just anyone. Hope that makes you feel special. He's charming. Warmth met my cheeks. I stared at the closing line, disappointed that I'd been trolled. Has she been trolled? I don't know what definition of trolling. Wouldn't that be if he fooled her? Like, just joshing you, you got trolled. It just sounds like a guy sent her a rude message. I clicked the troll's profile and a low-resolution photo emerged. Wow, Genius One was quite a handsome troll. The kind of sensual looks that could melt any woman's heart. Also, sometimes people appeared even more attractive in person. Yeah, that's my experience. I love that she gets trolled by somebody, then clicks his profile, and then she's like, wow, he's way better looking than I thought. Because everyone on the internet uses their real photos on their profiles, especially trolls. He sends her a lot of harassing messages. She chats back like, leave me alone. She gets so intimidated by him that she just puts her entire computer away for like several days. I guess you can't block people on this dating site, and I also guess she doesn't know that you can just not go to a certain website if you don't want to read someone's messages. Better to just put all that computer nonsense aside. When she finally goes back to her computer, Genius One, aka Justin, has sent her an extremely graphic description of what he'd like to do to her sexually in a very commanding and frightening way, and then closes with, I promise never to hurt you, which is always reassuring. I gaped, rereading his crude suggestions over and over. A complete stranger sent me the dirtiest, most provocative message I'd ever seen in my 21 years of living. I said it was sexual. It wasn't that sexual. It wasn't like most provocative ever. I'm trying to imagine who wrote this, that they wrote a 21-year-old narrator who's like shocked that a man sent her a horrifying sexual message online. Like, I can't believe this happened. The internet's never been like this before. Like, just in the comments of this video, there are gonna be like 300. He was the first man to give me such a reaction. Yeah, okay, it's never happened to her before. Justin, a name that stole my breath and accelerated my pulse. I don't want to offend anyone named Justin, but it's just Justin. She doesn't reply to the message, and then Justin suddenly, with his hacker skills, hacks her computer so a live feed of himself doing a provocative striptease dance appears on her computer screen. Hi, baby. His pouty lips belonged to a face etched with strong features. Styled in a faux hawk, blonde highlights streaked his auburn hair. Straight nose and smooth complexion completed this portrait of perfection. Call me Justin. Wondering how I'm streaming this video? He removed the belt, unzipped, and inched his jeans lower. He's gloating while he's stripping. He reveals halfway through his striptease that he has a microphone feed and can also hear what she's saying, and she asks him how, and we're treated to this explanation. First, I hacked into the TCL site by exploiting an XSS security breach. Then I injected a script into my profile page. After you looked at my profile, I gathered your login information, got your real name, email. I assume he's still nude while he's saying this, and from that point, I was able to get your physical address, birth date. I remotely installed software on your computer that let me stream this live video. Perfect crime. I wouldn't get charmed by his peals of laughter, the way his muscles bulged when he bent his arms, or the way his shorts bulged. Just everything's bulging. Okay, I hate this. This is actually making me feel like really on edge. He's also hacked her phone, so she can't call the police, so she just decides to go to sleep. I don't understand that. She's like, this is scary. I'm gonna sleep it off. Then suddenly he just appears and he's in her house, of course. Yeah, he broke into her house. He said that her door let him in. I don't know what that means. Did she just not lock her door? It doesn't matter. It's really scary, and this is a romance novel. This is just like a horror show. It's like, but it is a romance novel because she's into it. I don't know why. They keep reiterating that she's into bad boys, but this seems like the wrong extreme to take that in. I'm also lucky to hold such an exquisitely beautiful creature in my arms. As Justin spoke, he leaned, exhaled warmth straight into my ear, and gave my tummy a rush of sexual excitement. Is there any word less attractive than tummy? There wasn't anything charming about his insatiable hunger for control. Or was there? No. She's suddenly I have to go to the bathroom, and he lets her, and she comes back and he's just asleep, and she has an opportunity to escape. I don't want to victim blame or anything, but she definitely should have escaped while that was happening. I glanced at the front door. Should I? Yes. You should. He just looks so innocent sleeping that she decides not to escape. Which, does that count as consent? I hope it does. There's no good way to put this, and it's common in romance novels, weirdly, but obviously it gets sexual from here, and in the case of this book, he has obviously broken into her house and was not invited in. It's bad. This is why it's the worst book. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna talk about these pages. Okay. It's not funny anymore. It's really bad, but after everything that occurs, after 24 hours have passed with him in the house, during which many things have happened, I reflected on those hours as I lay in bed. He lay right beside me. Justin, what a strange character. I think that's a little mild. I remained trapped inside this small, dark apartment with a madman, a deadly, sexually potent man with intelligence sharp enough to get him accepted in Mensa. So now that it's the next day, she's kind of just into it, and they more sexual things happen. They start making out, and then he weirdly negs her. I guess he is a troll. He tells her that she sucks at kissing, and then she gets upset. at that. Not that he like broke in, but that he was mean about her kissing. Okay, so I just remembered this was supposed to be the first 3 books in a series, and I don't know where these book breaks would have been if they had ever existed, because I am this much through the book, and so far I've only encountered 5 linear chapters. It's almost over. Maybe like this much of the book is just gonna suddenly be 2 different books. I find it unlikely. I stared, amazed as his blue eyes betrayed nothing except striking beauty. Funny how such a handsome man could be so troubled and weird. No wonder they always said beauty was only skin deep. Yes, that is exactly what they mean when they say that. It's true. He really is an angel who acts like the devil. Justin Brogan, a fallen angel, Prince of Darkness and Light. Prince of Darkness and Light would have been a much better username than Genius One. I have checked. There are 7 chapters. I don't know how that was 3 books, but there are 7 chapters. And chapter 6 is great. The author like suddenly remembered that they didn't set up anything that's going on at all, or like who the characters are, what the character's life is like. So she just starts playing catch up. They're just having pillow talk and suddenly start asking each other expository questions. You do have a job, don't you? Justin asks. I'm a receptionist for a pediatrics clinic. Once I was disciplined for browsing dating sites during office hours, but that's been a while back. I think my boss has given up on me. I offered a quick shrug. He doesn't care if I miss work. Firstly, that sounds like a great job. Second, that's very convenient that you can just disappear for days at a time and no one asks where you went. Though I didn't recall falling asleep, I did recall Justin's sweet compliments. I'd never forget. It was the first time anyone had ever complimented me on my appearance. Girl. I mean, if that's true, then I guess I understand why she likes him. She grabbed them nachos and queso dip to eat in bed. It's been 48 hours and I think they're just boyfriend and girlfriend now. I think like she forgot that he broke into her house. Our conversation lapsed to the subject of my father, Judge Adkins, who annoyed me last week and every week before since I was 18. He keeps giving me these canceled checks to keep in a lockbox. This is a huge 11th hour twist. He's so secretive, he never tells me what they're for, yet he expects me to hide them without questions. I told him if he was so concerned about the damn things, then he should just burn them. Of course, he told me he can't do that. Why? Don't you think it's time you tell me where you're from? Do you have a career aside from hacking computers? I'm a troll. Not just a troll. It's an acronym. For what? Actually, I'm supposed to withhold information pertaining to my job. What is it an acronym for? Shoulders drooping, he lifted his head to meet my eyes. It's about your father and his illegal activities with 3 other judges. As Judge Adkins' daughter, especially as his daughter, you got involved when you started keeping his canceled checks. Oh my god, this story decided to have a story in the last 3% of the page length. My father is a respected judge, so you have no idea what you're talking about. It's a good thing this author did nothing to establish this at any point earlier in the story. What's my father involved in? I nearly screamed. Isn't it obvious? He's involved in corruption, bribery. And no, I'm not a cop. I'm a member of Troll, a vigilante group of hackers, hacktivists, and my job was to bait you through one of your online profiles, gain your trust until I could find solid proof of Judge Atkins' crimes. Okay, first, what does Troll stand for? They still didn't tell us. Second, it's very convenient that her pillow talk happened to be about her father and how he gives her mysterious checks, the source of which she is unclear on. He did not steer the conversation that way. She just brought it up apropos of nothing, it's good first date talk to talk about your lockbox of mysterious checks from your corrupt judge father, Judge Adkins. Third, and this is the biggest one for me, he apparently works for a spy group and his entire job was to seduce this one girl. And his strategy was to just send her a private message on the site that seemed like it was from a troll that literally just said, LOL nice boobs. And that was like his entire master plan. And then he Skyped her himself doing a strip tease. Like, just to be clear, this worked on her because she's weird. But like, what if she had been a normal person? What did the other spies say about this? Were they like, are you sure that's the approach you want to take, man? He closed his eyes for a moment, then his gaze held mine. I was supposed to date you and eventually search your apartment for those canceled checks, he said in a cool tone. I planned to scan the evidence, send screenshots to Judge Adkins' email with a message assuring him we know of his crimes. Sorry, I love that we're all like on a friendly basis with Judge Adkins. Like, we're just calling him that by his title. As for the other judges, evidence has already been collected. Your father was the final one. The perfect crime. I backed off, trembling, losing the last thread of sanity. You were using me? Okay, he broke into her apartment and sexually assaulted her. So, yes, he was using her, but this is not the ultimate betrayal. I wasn't using you. Not totally. That'll make her feel better. I never meant to take it this far. Bro, you started this far. Justin's long, fluid strides closed the distance between us. A corner of his lips quirked to a frown and completed his troubled look. Eyes of moonstone lost their twinkle. Justin rushed to the bag and yanked out the contents. He shoved a devil mask over his face. The letter T was airbrushed between bright red horns with the corners of a demonic grin curled into Satan's cheekbones. How macabre he appeared in that hideous thing, repulsive yet fascinating. Doorbell chimed. Dad shouted my name. Judge Adkins, he's here. And Justin, he whipped out a submachine gun and poised it beside his devilish head. Justin's holding the gun, he's wearing his scary mask, and he tells her to answer the door and that nothing bad will happen. I trust him. She gives him the lockbox of checks so that he will let her father leave unharmed. Wait, why is her dad here? Like, isn't this during the workday? So, for all he knows, she should be at work and not just at her house, randomly. And who comes over without calling in 2017? When was this written? Copyright 2014. Okay, that explains nothing. She tries to escape, but he catches her before the elevator doors open. Girl, take the stairs. I don't want you. Why the hell not? His eyes were wild. Is it not obvious? Like, what has he done right at this point? Is he still wearing the devil mask when he asks her this question? He removed the mask. He was wearing the mask. Okay, she kicks him in the crotch, and then she runs away. I went for the door, but it's stuck and the knob wouldn't turn. I threw myself at the door and used my fist to pound it. I refused to give in, even as my knuckles throbbed and became slick with blood. How long has she been hitting the door? Justin remained in a fetal position, crying, sobbing. I reached in his jeans pocket where I tugged out the wad of canceled checks. As best I could, I ignored his fiery glare. How long has this kick to the crotch left him incapacitated? I left the apartment and briskly walked to the elevator. I made a detour for the stairs, thank you. She's outside, we're good. A scraping noise cut through the nocturnal stillness. Instinctively, I glanced back at my apartment and spotted the source. My window scraped the frame as Justin raised it and peered out. You owe me, Kyla. I literally didn't know the main character's name until this moment. You owe me, Kyla. Only you can make this world right. Only you can make the darkness bright. Lyrics. He'd quoted lyrics from an old song of all things. I don't know what song that is. I'm gonna find out. Only you can make this world right. Only you can make the darkness bright.
Here is a matching video.
Okay, like, I'm sure it's beautiful, but because of the context, like, it's literally making me feel, like, ill in my tummy. It's not sexual feelings in my tummy. It's bad feelings. It's ruined forever for me. That's good. Better grow eyes on the back of your beautiful head, sweetheart. I'm gonna be coming for you. And I promise to find you. I know my way around the city better than you, my love. And then he just awkwardly closes the window. I cringed while crossing the street, a single thought in my mind. Get away, as far as I can. But I wouldn't forget his newest promise. Neither would he. Okay, that's it. That's it, the end of the book. And that was the worst book that I've ever found. It should be clear why. I think just in combination with the bad writing, it's just Such a horrible story. I mean, there's the awkward, like, sexual assault and kind of the horror of it. It's probably the least charming romantic hero I've ever seen. And whose fantasy is this? Like, usually when you get disturbing messages online, you're like, oh, that's scary. I hope I never run into that guy. You're not like, ooh, go on. Maybe I'm alone in this. Maybe that is a fetish. It's kind of beautiful because it illustrates, like, there's this weird trend of heroes who kidnap people and take them against their will. And I think this kind of is like the thing that would kill it. You know how like Daredevil was really bad and it killed superhero movies for a while? If this was mainstream and a lot of people read it, this would kill that kind of romance novel, like the dubious consent romance novel, because everyone would be like, oh, that's right, it's gross and creepy. So maybe it's a good book because of the power that it holds. It kind of just hit all the marks for bad fiction that I like. Ridiculous premise, weird pacing. It quoted song lyrics, which is great. It hits a specific niche, and I respect it for that. Now, okay, here's the question that I'm left with, is who is Emma Clark? Like, what is her deal? Was this written by a male troll? Where this seems like a male troll fantasy and not a woman's fantasy, where it's like, well, I bet whatever women that I'm talking to online would be really impressed by my hacking skills, and I bet they're secretly excited by those creepy messages that I send them. It's such a misunderstanding of what women like that it feels like that's a pseudonym. But the other explanation could be that it's a female using a pseudonym just because this is her embarrassing, weird fantasy. There's also another possibility that it's a Midwestern mom with no shame. That's a lot of romance novelists. And it would also explain why she doesn't understand how the internet works. The idea of blocking on websites, the fact that people don't always use their real photos, and her total misunderstanding of what life is like as a 21-year-old with a job who uses a laptop. I hope you enjoyed this descent into madness. I will link the Amazon page because it's important to support independent authors, even when, like, you know, and I had a horrible time. Thanks for asking. Possibly my favorite part is when he sends her his graphic, like, sexual live stream video. He does, like, overly explanatory dirty talk where he's like, I'm imagining that I'm having sex with you. And it's like, yeah, I know. It kind of goes without saying.